Our adoption journey started probably right after we got married. Actually, probably before we got married. We had always been each individually intrigued and interested in adoption, and when we got married, that continued and spurred us on to investigate adoption even more.
The more we looked into it, the more we began to understand that the need is very, very, very high. I think a lot of families adoptive parents think that adopting an African American boy is going to come with complications because of whatever racial tensions there are, whatever the teen years might look like. And so they're not willing to adopt, but because there's so many single mothers having babies, they don't have male role models in their lives. And so because they don't have any men, they think, well, I need to place my son for adoption because I don't know how to raise him. And so what you have is a glut, a massive amount of African American baby boys and very, very few willing adoptive parents or willing biological parents.
I think once we got further and further along into
on that track.
Yep, into our adoption, we felt more and more committed and more broken over all of the kids that were in need.
Because there are literally millions of children who grow up without parents. What would it be like we have two biological daughters, what would it be like for our two biological daughters to grow up without either of us? And even being in college ministry and seeing what it looks like for kids to grow up in absent father, absent mother homes, the brokenness is overwhelming. I think that's just a compelling reality for us. And it takes an experience. I think it does take stepping into that world. The reason that we felt compelled to adopt again as soon as we were beginning the process of adopting our first adopted son is because once you step into that world, you see it. You don't just hear it, you see it, and you go, whoa, this is a totally different world than the world we live in. And so you really do have to begin to wade in those waters a little bit.
Matt and I didn't know hardly anything about adoption. We didn't know where to start. We didn't know what it was going to look like, and it's scary. But I think just taking one step at a time and getting to a place of allowing God to bring conviction and bring understanding of where He's calling you is just a really important thing. And there are so many options. You can move forward in the adoption world, and you can move forward in doing foster care, which there is a massive, massive need for, just in the same realm of adoption. But I think taking one step forward and asking, what can I do to help?
Not only is God's heart for the fatherless and for the widow, you'll also learn that we have been adopted into His family. And I think we all know that. I think we can all say that. But once you actually take a child into your home and you feel what you feel for your child, and when I hold Eli, when he's restless and I calm him or whatever, I'm feeling affections that I can go, this is the adoptive love of my Father for me. It's not that I deserve to be taken into His family. He just set His affections on me and took me into His family. And I just think that experience is so powerful that it has opened up more of what His heart is for us. For us, anyway, there wasn't this massive adjustment where it's like, well, here are our biological daughters, and then here's our adopted son. It was, these are our children. And the affection that you feel in that moment, now you see God's delight in His adopted children in a way that you wouldn't have known it before. There's always going to be some sort of chaos in your life. There's never going to be a place. There's a heavenly rest, and then there's this life right here. So to think, well, we need to get to a place where everything's stable and rested, it's kind of a non-reality. And so what we're saying is, well, we'll pour our lives out while we have a life to pour out. When we see people in our church developing a heart for the fatherless, like the Father's heart for the fatherless. Not that they're necessarily stepping into the world of foster care or adoption, but they're developing a heart and coming alongside of us as a body, parenting these children. The children are not just orphans parented by us. They're orphans parented by the body of Christ. And so the idea of people coming alongside of us in that and really all of us carrying the Father's heart for His orphaned children that have been adopted into our family and His family, that's probably the biggest thing.